There we go. You happy little dog? Are you a happy little dog? Are you? Okay. Whew. I think I need water. Hello, everybody. Welcome aboard. It is Houston. We have a problem. Episode number 468. I did a little show with Josh Hamilton from The Gist today that was a complete disaster. My power went out from the windstorm we had 2 minutes before we went live. So I drove to a spot where I had full 5G antenna for my cell phone and tried doing it from there. And it just did not work out. So we're going to try and do another show, perhaps this week. We'll have to see what works out. He's probably asleep right now, so I haven't heard back from him. But the power came on a couple hours ago. I had to go to work, though, but I'm back. And now we can discuss the events of the day because, man, stuff's getting spicy. These short sellers are freaking out on social media. They are absolutely just, like, apoplectic. They just, like, we got Andrew, douchebag guy from Citron Research, going on TV being like, they're so mean to me. It's like, man. Buddy, you suck. That's why. Like all like trying to say, oh, Keith Gill's going to jail for this one. No, he's not. He's a retail trader. He did not buy more than 5% of the company. He's open about what his moves have been. And he's not doing anything different than you or I do every single day on the internet. He just happens to have a lot more money than we do. Right? So, you know, the fact that he's putting his positions out there while a whole bunch of companies aren't even announcing that they're shorting a company, or perhaps like paying people like Jim Cramer to talk smack about the companies that they shorted, or, you know, articles on Motley Fool or Seeking Alpha or whatever. Like, these dudes all assume everyone else must be doing what they're doing because they're criminals, therefore everyone else must be criminals. They have no moral fibers whatsoever. So screw them. Whenever you see one of these little shilly shill bags on your social media, call them for what they are. They suck. Yeah. Monkey butt, you having a good time over there? I think so. So E-Trade is now like, well, Keith Gill bought his options before he posted that he bought the options, and therefore that's fraud. No, it's not, you dickbags. He doesn't have to tell anyone. He chose to. He's like, hey, and he also forecast that he was going to do it with his like hundreds of videos he posted a couple weeks ago. He's like, this is what I'm going to do, and then he did it. So no, E-Trade is basically going to lose all of their customers. It's Merrill Lynch that owns E-Trade. Anyway, they're going to blow themselves up like Robinhood. Robinhood should be a stock that's at like $150 a share. And it's not, because they screwed over their customers. And if you screw over someone like Keith Gill on your platform, people aren't going to use your platform. Because what you're saying is, yes, become a real retail trader, but don't become a successful one, because if you do, we're gonna kick you off. So they're gonna have some PR person come out from E-Trade and try to smooth this thing over, or else people are going to leave in droves. So what else we have? Nextbridge Hydrocarbons released a little statement today, a little press release that they're getting sued by some company, and the company that sued them was like, please let us dismiss this case, and Nextbridge was like, no, unless you pay us. And they had to pay for the case dismissed. That's gone, and Nextbridge got some money. But yeah, the stock opened strong, opened in the 40s. They definitely hammered it down. Some of the hammering down may have been because of people like me. I dumped my options and then reset when it consolidated at a lower price. So I have more of them now, and they're worth way more. So that might have been some of it, but also a lot of it was just dark pools, just putting orders through dark pools and selling naked and everything else they do. The price bounced right back up. It's back up at $31 and change. My guess is we'll probably see some action pre-market, just like we did today. It'll open nice and strong, and then they'll hammer it right back down again, which is okay. I will do exactly what I did. I'll sell my options, and then when it consolidates, I'll buy up a whole bunch more, and we'll see where it settles after that. we could be seeing a pattern similar to what we saw in May, where that Monday when they had 8 million shares and the call options went in the money. So we had a little gamma, and we had overnight big jumps, almost 100% jumps on GameStop. They hammered it down Monday afternoon, and then Monday night it pushed $80 in the 24-hour, and then the after pre-market. And the minute the pre-market opened, they hammered down so hard. I think it ended up opening like $60-something, and they just pushed it down, halt after halt after halt after halt. So what I do is I look at where it's about where it's going to open, and then I set up all my option cells, trying to calculate the best of my ability what the price should be and what I'm comfortable with, and then I set them all so that when it opens, they trigger, and then I get the cash from it, and then I wait for the price to consolidate again, because the implied volatility at open is insane. So you get way more for it than you would otherwise. And then the shorts hammer it, and everyone else who sells just like me, the price shrinks again, and then people start buying it all back up again, and it starts to climb. We have whales buying lots of options. 10 or 20,000 at $43, I think, for this week. First of all, let's do an after dark. Boop. Boop. Okay, well, apparently Yahoo is once again useless, and you cannot get open interest for any options. Cool, Yahoo. You have the options chain that actually is easy to look at. Okay. One second. Let's get an options chain that's not one of these dorky ding-dong dipty-dips. Okay. Big charts, you have a good options chain? Oh my god, no. What a terrible... Oh my gosh, how can anyone look at that? One sec. Someone's going to have an options chain that is somewhat... Oh my... How do people look at this stuff? Why do you make things so graphically horrible? Un momento. Okay. Alright, I guess we gotta do... Okay, that doesn't help at all. That's not... Alright. One of these days, there's going to be an options chain that is as visually easy to look at as Yahoo that actually has the open interest. So, I guess we'll go with NASDAQ, because why not? All of the money. That's what we want. Boom. Boom. Excuse me. Okay. So we'll go with the NASDAQ one. Okay. I want just calls. Don't give me the puts. Okay. So strike price. You don't... Wait. No open interest here either? What the... Okay. Apparently the world's broken, and we can't see open interest on anything. Oh, wait, no, here we go. Sorry, that's the put side. I'm an idiot. All right. So, we have, some chunks low down, right? At $3, got some piles. Sorry, no, I'm doing my numbers wrong here. Strike $28. So we got. Wait, why is it not? Oh, all. Jeez, my knees. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. Okay, so we got some piles at $11. And, it builds up. Next big chunk is at 20. That's for this week. And then we get down to the big numbers. So there's 35s. At $100, we got 5,000. At 128, we've got 12,103. So there's some people jumping in here big. But the other big jump was at 40... 60, 40. Another 3,000 are purchased. I thought there was more than that was purchased today. Somebody dropped $1 million on those 3,000 of them. right there. And then what we want to look at, do you want to show that Keith Gill hasn't sold anything? Oops, that's too far. I really hate the way they have this set up. Why can't everyone just set up like Yahoo? It makes so much more sense. Okay, that's 14, 21. Here we go. 21, that's what we want. So they've got 25,000 at 40 and 145,000 at 20. Keith Gill showed today he didn't sell anything. Got 23,000 at 25, 21,000 at 30, 4,500 at 50, 9,000 at 50, 17,000 at 100, and 120. Let's see here. And that's 120 is the end of those. Okay, so yeah, people are loading up, they're loading in. Things are cool. Oh crap! That didn't. Set that up. Oh my god! Today's been a day. One of the problems is that the power was out, so I had no ability to like check or do anything. I just took a giant nap, and then when I woke up, it felt like Tuesday, and my brain has not been able to rectify that, and it's been just trouble ever since. I feel like I've added an extra day this week somehow. And turn this off before we forget to do it again. Okay, so what you guys thinking? I don't know how long my brain space is gonna be able to work for. I may have to like fall back asleep at some point, but I think we get another push tonight, and then I guess we see what happens later in the week. Right now we have just a lot of options in the money, and I wish that this thing could set up properly so we can see what's in the money. Okay. All in the money. Okay, so we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Oh crap, you just reset on me? 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. So we're about 40,000 in the money right now, and that might jump, or people may sell and reset their options. So that's 4 million shares that they got to go purchase. The put side is minuscule. So it's definitely heavily weighted towards the call option side, and they're going to have to, because we're $10 up over last Friday, they're going to have to purchase shares to hedge for this. So we should see some purchasing. If this thing still consolidates at 30 or above, we should see some purchasing by options writers towards the end of the week to pick up more of these things to hedge for this whole thing, which could cause some gamma ramping, and which will be great. Since 54, moist. Wrong conclusion. Second. Javier, heard you earlier on the gist. Recommend Wi-Fi calling intro off for your sanity. Yeah. Man. Javier, SPY also had halts today. What a time to be alive. Yeah, because a whole bunch of the stocks that are in the SPY got halted because they had a giant glitch. I forgot about the glitch. The giant glitch. Apparently 45 people picked up Berkshire Hathaway shares for $185. Some of them have had their sales reversed. Some have been charged $600,000 for the purchase, and now their accounts are like, I don't know, negative, in arrears. Yeah, so that was crazy. There's a lot of banks, a lot of blue chips, gold mining companies, Bank of Montreal, Berkshire Hathaway, Goldman Sachs. They all dropped like 99%. So, that's a weird glitch. That tells me it was a particular trading computer that cascaded and went to some sort of dump mode and started, I don't know, missing decimal points or something. I don't know. Javier Martinez will watch you tomorrow. Good night, y'all. Good night. Rose Moon, are we going from chin stroking to nipple rubbing yet? We are pretty close to cutting glass with these nipples at this point. So, soon. Jason Blackwell, Houston, sex with my wife is magic. I jump in bed and she disappears. Fer Garcia, hope you made money on those calls, HW. For the love of God, do it for all of us who want to see you win. Cali Bowl. Hope you enjoyed the race, you lucky bastard. Well, nothing but love, brothers and sisters. Fur, I know he enjoyed that race. He sent me all sorts of videos. Just so I think the deal is if we MOAS, we're all going to Monaco next year for the F1. If you're in, yeah, that should be great. I missed a super chat in here also. I did. Oh, Crayon Green gifted us memberships. Bex got one. Robert got one. Critchy Chris, Oats with Goats, and all got one. So I think, well, is that Robert a familiar Robert or not a familiar Robert? We didn't get too many lurkers on that one, Crayon Green, but you know what? I'm sure they appreciated it. Bill Coin, if they block Roaring Kitty's trades, what do you think the blowback will be? I think Roaring Kitty would own E-Trade. I think he would just sue the shit out of them and then own their brokerage. They'll be like, oh, look at the fine print. You know, you can't do certain things. We reserve the right to kick you out. Dude, the guy's about to become a billionaire, and you're going to kick him off your platform? That is the dumbest possible thing you can do. All he's going to do is generate more and more wealth for your company and more retail traders coming in and using your platform. But no, kick them off. And then all the retail traders will leave, and then no one uses your platform, and you will sink and die. How difficult is that to figure out? You want your retail traders to succeed so they use your platform and you make money. But if you don't allow them to succeed, then they won't use your platform and you won't make money. Just ask Robinhood. People left, and their stock is like floats between $8 and $20 when it should be in the hundreds. It was the brokerage app 3 years ago, and they absolutely burned themselves by dropping below the trust thermocline, and people left. So yeah, the blowback will be absolutely gnarly. Okay. Hey, Rupert Trooper. Hey, bud. Were you able to add your options today? The IV was insane. Never really went below 300%. What's your strat going in tomorrow? I should have bought when I was at $28. The IV was still like over 300%. And I don't know, 20, 30 minutes later, it was at like 30, and the IV for a moment dipped below 300. And that's when I bought. So I have 17 $31 calls for Friday, hoping that we get some action, you know, at open from the overnights. And if that's the case, I dump those, and they'll be looking at options for the 14th. I won't buy any more weeklies this week. I might buy some weekly puts, because if it starts high at open, they're going to try and push it down, you know, tens of dollars if they can. And I might as well, you know, win on the way down. So that's probably my strategy. I think, you know, if it starts strong tomorrow, I think I can make enough that I can get to the 100 call options at a reasonable chunk for sometime around the 21st, maybe even the 28th. Look for the week after. But I want at least 100 for that. That if the price goes, you know, $300-$400 like it did in 2021, that's the retirement chunk, and I can, you know, then think about my shares. But it's nice to have that cash on hand and to play that game. So Monkey Butt agrees. She's been sleeping on it all day. So, wrong conclusion. Does anyone else hear the orchestra warming for what can be an amazing performance of the stocks? Devin Johnson, Houston. They have a problem. They do. Lego Grub. Hey, Houston. Happy birthday. Can you explain the situation we are currently in with GME and dumb it down for those who have no idea what's currently going on? My roommate just doesn't understand. I mean, I can try. So, years ago, 2014 or so, GameStop was a dying brick and mortar, just kind of circling the drain. They hadn't innovated. They, you know, they're resting on their laurels. They were coasting on their business model, which was, you know, selling some video games here, buying video games from customers and reselling them for a markup there, you know, catering to some of like the classic video game people wanting old, you know, NES cartridges, and it just, you know, was kind of decrepit, old, graying, passe. A lot of people now have like Steam accounts. They're downloading games. They have them stored on their hard drives. They don't need cartridges anymore. And they weren't really innovating. And so some shorts were like, hey, let's destroy this company. Let's make a lot of money off this company by just tearing it down. And we're going to short the hell out of it because they're circling the drain. So why not? We'll just help them, help jiggle the handle a little bit and flush them down. So first, some nefarious actors got a chunk of shares. And then they forced their way onto the board. And then when they forced their way onto the board, they, of course, got rid of their shares because they're already on the board. They don't need shares anymore. And then they started hiring groups like Boston Consulting Group to come in and tell them how to destroy their company under the guise of like, what can we do to improve? And they're, of course, going to say, well, what you should do is sell off all your assets and then lease it back. And then, crap on your vendors and never repair anything. And of course the companies, it's losses are accumulating. They're taking on debt. They're doing stock buybacks. They're doing all sorts of stuff to accumulate more debt. And at the same time, they're still doing $5-6 billion a year in sales. And along comes Keith Gill in spring of 2020. The price in April 2020, GameStop's at $2.57, which I think that was pre Splividend, so like 82 cents, something like that, 83 cents, somewhere around there. And he's like, hey, this company isn't too far from being profitable, and I think it's a value buy. They still have loyal customers. They still have a business model that can be salvaged, and they make a lot of sales. And all they need is just a little tweak, and they're profitable. He puts this out there. He talks about how it's completely massively shorted. Short squeeze potential exists, and people don't really listen to him. Someone did. Ryan Cohen. Ryan Cohen listened to them. Ryan Cohen, in August of 2020, buys millions and millions of shares at about $8 average, I think, and does a proxy fight and forces his way onto the board and brings some people along with him. And then he starts just jackhammering the bad actors. He fires Boston Consulting Group, refuses to pay them because fuck them, they're trying to destroy the company. He fires the insiders who were trying to destroy the company from the inside. And at the same time, the stock price goes up a bit because there's these swaps, and the stock price went from $2 to over $8, and these swaps, all of a sudden, they have to close some of the stuff or do some covering. So the stock price climbs in the fall and winter of 2020. And by the time January comes around 2021, it's now over social media. People are like, holy crap, I think Keith Gill was right. Look at how many shares he purchased and how many call options he has, and he's making money like crazy. It's the stock price is over $20. This is nuts. And that third week of January is when it hit mainstream social media. I started seeing it in my Twitter feed, on Facebook, Instagram, like people all of a sudden talking like, I'm getting in here, I'm buying these shorted stocks. Oh my gosh, this basket's huge. There's AMC, there's, Research in Motion or BlackBerry, wherever, like they're all over the place. Costs. Get it while you can. This stuff's going to go nuts. And the FOMO kicked in. And the week the FOMO kicked in was after the leaps in January triggered way in the money, huge gamma squeeze that following week. And the price climbs to $480. And at that point, Robinhood is about to be insolvent because Robinhood depends upon arbitrage to get people's shares in lieu of commission. So in the old days, you'd buy a stock, you'd pay a fee to a broker to do the transaction for you. Robinhood revolutionized this by finding market makers out there in the market who would facilitate a trade and do so at an arbitrage cost. You want to buy a stock at $100, they'll find it for $99.99 and pocket that penny, and that will be their fee, and they'll give it to you for $100. Well, what was happening was Robinhood was going into the market trying to find these shares at a penny cheaper, and in that moment the price went up $10. So instead of buying the stock for $99.99, selling for $100, they're buying it for $110 and giving it to you for $100. And they were losing money like crazy. Their margin got eaten up, and they basically got margin called by their prime broker. And they had to turn off the buy button on all of these meme stocks because they were about to get obliterated. At the same time, all these hedge funds were now underwater on the hundreds of millions or billions of shares that they had shorted. We're talking GameStop's at $480, Cost is at $127. I can't remember how high AMC got, $100 somewhere around there. We had BlackBerry, Nokia, Ader, like there's hundreds of these things were just screaming, and they turned the buy button on 70 or 80 stocks because they were all part of the same ETF basket they've been getting shorted, and that allowed them to like cool down, let the FOMO demand diminish, and the stock price dropped to $40, and everyone's like, oh, whew, we made it out of that one. And of course, on comes Congress, like, this seems messed up because all of our constituents are ready to kill you. So let's have some hearings. So they have some hearings. And the brokerages and the short hedge funds and the market makers all trying to blame Keith Gill. He's just a pump and dumper. Keith Gill at this point had never sold any of his shares. He just got more. He still didn't exercise his calls at this point. And like, it's pump and dumper. This is all pump and dumping. This is blah, 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 blah. So they have the hearings. Stock price, I think, bottomed out about $38, which is under $10 per share today with the split dividend. And then March 2021 hits, and the stock price in a single day climbs $100, like at noon on some random day in March. And before the end of that week, it hits $350, and then gets hammered down to 120 in about 5 minutes with no halts, by the way. And then bounces back up to 250, and we're like, holy shit, what's going on? And it settles about, like, I don't know, 120, 140 after that, and hovers around there. And then June comes along, the week Memorial Day in June. The stock price goes back up to 350 again. And AMC's flying with it. Cost goes to $44. Like, the whole basket is screaming once more. And everyone's like, what the hell is going on? And then it drops back down, floating around $100, $150. And then it jumps again to $200 and something in August and drops down. And then it jumps again to a couple $100 in November and drops down. And then it jumps again in January and drops down. Then once we get to March, April again, it flies to $250 all over again. It's because the shorts never closed. They take all of their liabilities, they put them into these debt and equity swaps, and they send the liability off to somebody else and then pay a fee on that liability while it's gone. It's like taking a loan out, and you got to pay a fee on it. So these swaps were coming due every couple of months, like every quarter. And when that would happen, huge covering had to go on the market. The price would fly because these swaps started in 2014 when the stock price was absolute dog shit. And it had been hammered down ever since then. Got even worse and worse and worse as time went on. So the only time you'd see volatility was when the stock was way above what the swap value was, and or swap liability was, and then they had to go on the market and cover. What they've managed to do, as Peruvian Bull was pointing out a week or two ago, is they found this giant mega swap, which is $87 billion or something. So taking these little bullet swaps that would expire every couple of years, and they just keep putting them into this big one, which expired today. So who knows what the hell is going to happen now that giant, huge mega swap of some kind with $87 billion in liability in it has expired, and if anybody has taken on that risk, and if someone does take on that risk, what's the interest rate? Like, what's the fee going to be, especially with interest rates as high as they are now, especially with the fact the stock price is as high as it is? Who's going to agree to take on that liability, and where are they going to charge these shorts to hold that liability for them? I think that the fee alone may be enough to take out hedge funds. If it's 8% and it's $100 billion, you're looking at $8 billion a year in fees. That's a lot of cash draining from your capital investment. And hedge funds are not doing well in the first place. There's very few hedge funds who have made positive earnings in the past couple of years. More than half have lost money. These billionaire customers are pulling their money out as fast as they can because they see they can just put their money into the SPY and make way more than what the hedge funds are offering. And the hedge funds can't seem to figure it out that, like, trying to destroy companies is not how you make money, especially when retail investors are now honed in and ready to murder. So flash forward to today. We've got Keith Gill's back. He went silent June of 2021, and he reappeared, and he has hundreds of millions of dollars behind him, and he's a whale driving this thing. He posted these videos back in May every 15 minutes for an entire week during the trading day of basically what his plan was using movie clips. And it was like, sorry to leave you guys. Maybe I'll return someday. Oh, I've returned. What the hell is going on? He's, we see all this volatility. We see, people fighting and whatever. And eventually get to the end of it. And he's like, you know what? I'm just going to do it myself. I'm going to kick this thing off all myself and let's get them. And he did it. I think he was behind the May 17th $12 calls that were purchased in April. Those things triggered a whole bunch of delta hedging, which caused the price to go up, put him in the money, which then caused gamma ramping and a gamma squeeze. And he probably made $150 million off those call options. Then he used that money to purchase even more shares and then buy all of these $20 calls for June 21st, which are in the money. And so he's sitting on 120,000 call options plus his 5 million shares he has. And he could trigger those call options at any time he wants and absolutely screw over all of the options writers. So I'm wondering if he's waiting for, some action from the swaps, some FOMO from the normies jumping in again. And he's probably just toying with everybody. That'd be my guess. So I don't know if that was short enough or too long or complicated. But anyway, shorts are fucked. And here we are. Okay. Justin G, they're afraid. Oh, they're afraid and they're sweaty and they've got headaches and they can't eat and they're snapping at their wives and their kids hate them. And, creditors are calling and they know that they're doomed. They see the end and they're just like, fuck. What are we going to do? I mean, banks in general, 63 banks, I think the FDIC said, are in imminent danger of failing. Banks collectively posted a $500+ billion loss last quarter. Like the doom is coming. The Fed's gonna have to raise interest rates. That's just a fact. They're gonna have to raise interest rates because they gotta slow down the inflation because they can't have stagflation and the economy failing at the same time. They gotta pick one or the other. And so I think we're going to see a 1/4 point raise at some point this summer from the Fed. And right now there's too much focus on these large cap stocks that are overvalued compared to what they offer and what their sales are. And those large cap tech stocks especially are keeping the SPY and the NASDAQ 1000 afloat because they overwhelmingly represent too huge of a portion of the index in both of those. It's just, we're in a very weird place. I think everything's just going to turn at some point. It's just going to go belly up. And everyone's going to be like, well, I didn't see that coming. And you know what? We saw it coming. It's just, we don't know the moment it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. Fatal Wraith, Houston. Any word with what happened to Berk A? Some of the orders that did get filled really created havoc in their accounts. Glitch better have my money. I don't have no idea. Syzygy 4 retrade is big mad. Someone doesn't have the shares to cover his exercising his calls. That'd be my guess. that means you should just exercise them, maybe ASAP before they throw them off their platform or something. Joseph DeSantis, good evening, Houston. Happy belated birthday. And happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, Joseph DeSantis. At what price could the government step in and stop MOAS? Also, could it settle for something less than last market sell price? The government do what the government do. I have no idea. They may have to step in, and they probably will first step in when it comes to printing. Have the Fed and the Treasury spool up the old printing machines and bail out the banks because the banks are doomed. They're the prime brokers for this stuff, and we can't have. We had 5 major investment banks. We're down to 3 major investment banks. We can't afford to have more fail. We should have 30 investment banks in this country, but various crimes along the way keeps taking them out, and so the competition has disappeared. And now we've got so much liability trapped into these big investment banks that there's no There's nothing you can do. You can't just let them fail again because you need investment banks to, keep the flow of capital moving through a society. So yeah, they're going to get bailed out. They might sacrifice one of them and then be like, why do we only have two? So yeah, we're just, I don't know. Maybe they step in, maybe the price gets to $1,000 a share. That's enough to like wipe out everyone, especially if there's 4 billion short shares out there of just GameStop. So you're looking at $4 trillion in liability. It's a 20% of the entire U.S. economy in just liability that these guys have created at $1,000. So maybe they step in and go, all right, $1,000 a share, get out of here. And you take it or leave it. And that's basically what they do. I'm sure everyone's like, fuck you, I'm leaving it. But I don't know. We'll have to see if it happens, if they do that. They have the power to do that. I think it's better just to let it burn and start over. Why keep a broken system intact? Kill off the dead hairs and regrow a big, beautiful mane again, right? You want to go under your blanket? You're on top of your blanket. You can't go under your blanket when you're on top of it. Here. Right here. Come on. You can't go under it if you're on top. You can't go under it if you're on top. That's the best I can do because you're on top of the blanket. Huh? Why can't you figure that out? Here. How's that? Meat tube. Okay. She's a smart dog, but she can never figure out that she can't go under a blanket she's on top of. And, some common sense, buddy. Per turn. Every time pre-market booms, market makers sure hedge funds shut that shit down by allocating trading to the OTC. Yep. That's exactly what they do. I mean, I'm sure today it probably had 70% or more trades going through the OTC through dark pools. What's the point of having being listed on an actual exchange if all your trades going through the OTC? You might as well be an OTC stock, right? Like Gary Gensler, what's the point? What's the point of having your stock listed on an exchange if all the trades are going to go through not the exchange? Fix it, man. Fix it. Brandon Wells is here. Peachy Sunday's here. Anna Rolnick, Houston. I'll probably fall asleep listening by the time you read this. Well, it's been an hour, so that's very possible. Salmon. Whoops, Salmon. I just reset the chat and I lost you. Where'd you go, Salmon? Where'd you go? Did I lose Salmon? Oh, the 927 was Salmon. Citron was chirping today in a tweet about Roaring Kitty. I laughed my ass off, saying there is some nefarious backing behind this. You fuckers are going down. Yeah, I subtweeted him and pointed out that him being bad at this and Keith Gill being good at this does not make him have a valid point. He's like, where did the money come from? I don't know, dude. I did on the show yesterday showing that he can make $3 million a week selling covered calls. Plus, he's probably playing the options market himself, right? Riding that wave up and down, generating more capital. I'm sure he has other investments that he's worked in as well. I'm sure, he's got margin available to him. And he probably did those $12 calls last month and made $150 million. So he could put together $400 to $500 million just by doing that over the last 3 years. So yeah, he's got cash. He's got a boatload of cash on hand. So, Citron Research wants to be like, I lost 100% of my worth in 2021, and I had to have someone come bail me out. I bet somebody bailed Keith Gill out too. Why? He didn't lose any money, dipshit. It's not too hard to figure out. He knew how to make money. You lost money. End of mystery, right? You're not the smartest guy in the room, apparently, since you keep getting hammered every shorts position you take, and you go on social media and bitch about it, and you get investigated for crimes by the SEC and the FBI every single time. Like, bud, figure out a different MO at this point. Tack. It's not that hard to do. Corporate Walnut. What's the most unreasonable thing you will buy if this gets extra stupid? All 6 seats on a new Glen launch to outer space for me and my friends. That's probably the most ridiculous thing I would buy if this goes absolutely crazy. If I end up with, you know, if I end up with the amount of money Keith Gill has right now for some reason, I don't know why I would. That's an expense I would probably pay for. My own little private space party for 5 minutes of weightlessness, and then come back and be like, I did it. Here's my profile picture. Yeah, that's probably what I would do. Corporate Walnut. Oh, no, I did that one. GDC, Mod Retro announced partnership with both Gmi and Cost today. Coincidence? It is interesting. I do think that the GameStop board looks at these other retail companies that are in their ETF basket and says, what can we do to partner with them so that we can screw everyone over in the process? And I have little doubt that that's why they partnered with Cost on this. I'm not sure. I don't know anything about Mod Retro. I saw a little video about their little retro high-performing Game Boy clone. Seemed pretty neat. And then it's got fancy Cost stuff, speakers and whatnot. Just from Dax. Is there somewhere we can see the cat data, or do we have to Freedom of Information Act them until they give us the information? If DFE exercises E-Trade gets exposed. I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know if the cat data is available, if it'll be made available like once every 2 weeks, like FTDs, or if it's available day of, or if we'll ever be allowed to see it, or if it's only seen by law enforcement or SEC enforcement. If it only gets looked at if there's a complaint or an investigation, I have no idea. I'm sure we have some FOI, experienced lawyers in the movement that could probably figure that out for us. If you are somebody who's a FOIA expert, see what you can dig up. I am not a FOIA expert. I know it's a pain in the ass process, and that's as much as I know. So, lawyers, circle up. Does Next Bridge get a glass of Martinelli's yet? Not yet. I think Martinelli's is coming soon. It's sooner than it's been for the last couple of months. And, man, I'm thirsting for it. It's been aging. My Martinelli's like 9 months old in the fridge now. So, soon. Avocados is here. Nunya D Biz. When do we see the rich stuff? Sometime in the next 3.5 weeks. XXX, Triple X is here. Hello, what is MMTLP outcome and can be, and what is new with MMAT? Thanks. MMAT is on the thresholds list. Rumors are that Honeywell's trying to do a hostile takeover. Uzi, the CEO, sucks ass. That's all the updates I have on MMAT. We have MMTLP. They have been doing some wheeling and dealing to get cash and investors in on their leases. They had filed for a hearing with TradeStation to get trade data from them because it appears that TradeStation basically naked shorted their customers like an order of magnitude more shares than what they actually had available. And that hearing was supposed to be on Friday, but it got canceled because my guess is TradeStation gave them the data. We've got individual investors suing TradeStation for that naked shorting. In Florida, I believe. I think Basile is part of that. They've asked for a conference with the SEC and FINRA. FINRA's willing. SEC has not said anything as far as I know. Yeah, that's all the updates I have. And then that lawsuit against them got dropped, and then the people who sued them had to pay them money to drop it. So that tells me that there's probably a countersuit in that MMT or NextBridge was like, we're not going to drop this because we're going to eat your lunch unless you pay us. So yeah. Dead Bass. I forget if it was Dead Bass or Dead Bass. He told me once, and then I don't know. We'll say Dead Bass. I bought 621 2450 calls last Thursday. Genius move until I sold them Friday for a 34% gain. So close. Oh, yeah. You gotta wait for that FOMO over the weekend, man. Just gotta wait a moment. Peter Rand. Doing anything in the markets is difficult. Landmines and unfair practices everywhere. That's an understatement. Bitcoin, you can reply to a super chat. That's new to me. What? Oh, you can reply to a super chat. Yeah, there's like a little reply down there. How about that? Huh. Frozen State Productions, I should have phrased my question more better last night. Now that the shorts know DFV is holding the calls, why are they still trying to short like they did today? They're treading water to stay alive, man. I mean, if you are caught in Class 6 rapids and you're bonking off of rocks and you're finding yourself in these eddies that are drowning you, you're still going to swing your arms around trying to find the surface at some point, right? That's where they are. They are desperately trying to climb out of this certain death whirlpool they're in, and the only thing they know is frantically flailing. So they're frantically flailing right now because it's always worked for them in the past when the water was calm. And they don't have an action plan. They don't have life preservers. They don't have friend spotting or a life ring coming out. They just have panic, and they're in pure panic mode. And we talked about 3 years ago on the Gist. Their only solution is to short more, which generates more liability, which dooms them in the long run. But they're looking to survive today and focus on the battle tomorrow. And that's all they know. There's no other strategy they have available to them other than panic shorting. And they'll do that until they can't. So they get cash. Every time they short something, they get cash. And what happens to that cash? Caymans, Belize, Bahamas, Cyprus, I don't know. Probably goes there. Beaver brand prayers for Houston's utilities, all of them. It's all I need is like a pipe to burst in the wall, and we got the trifecta going. Bex, hey Houston, happy birthday. If you haven't already, by the time you read this, can you give us the rundown of how widespread the stock plummets were today? I know about Burke, BMO, and gold. Those are the big ones I know of. I saw some others pop up. It looked like 20 or 30. I would probably look at, and I don't have time right now, nor the brain space to do it, but probably look at what baskets those particular stocks might be in. Because it could have been a trading computer at Vanguard or BlackRock or Goldman or something just shit the bed and dumped the wrong things at the wrong price. So, maybe they thought, there's liability happening here. We should sell this stuff. And then the trading computer, the algorithm was wrong and had itself a good old fashioned poop the bed situation. And then went, halt. soon as everyone sees Berkshire drop $627,000 in one trade, the alarm bells are probably going off everywhere at that point. So, but hey, some folks made themselves $30 million on that, so good for them. Frozen State Productions, Roaring Kitty is going to smash shorts. Haven't any hedgies watched Margin Call recently? Get out. I want tall green candles. Get out. Alex Bishop is here. Forum Border 156. Green crayons are best crayons. Most flavor by far really jacks the tits, in my opinion. So I've heard. Frozen State Productions. My wife's birthday is coming up. I wanted to surprise her with a trip to Vegas to see her sister. Her cake will only have green candles. Good idea. She'll probably be like, why? Why the green candles? Kelly Reed, Houston. Do you think E-Trade is doing this scare tactic to DFV because if you exercise, they don't have the shares? Endgame? Yeah. That's probably exactly why they're doing it. JM says, fire, everything is fine. Fire. That's the meme. Kelly Reed, also happy birthday, and hope you and Josh do another interview when where your internet works. Yeah, we'll do another one. He'll wake up soon, and hopefully he'll message me back. That's what, 7 a.m. there? Maybe he's awake by now. I have no idea. He's not awake yet. Okay, so we'll find out. Louis posting some charts. Mike Forrest, you're late. I'm always late. Nadine Biz, you're officially late, Houston. You must be punished. Cook de Capo, bottle's still on ice. The bottle is still on ice. But man, I've whetted my appetite. And on I'm off. I will beseech you, spirits of Houston utilities, give us a full show in the name of MOAS. Grave Knowles, Houston man, can you describe your mind as a place in decent detail? Can I describe my mind as a place in decent detail? Filing cabinet? I mean, like, I feel like I organize things in my brain like a filing cabinet. Like, literally, you ask me to recall information, and my brain scans and goes to that cabinet, opens a drawer, picks through the folders, and pulls it out, closes the drawer, and reads it. And that's kind of how my brain works. Also, there's sort of like a slot machine that goes, and it's like an association slot machine. So someone will say something, and the wheels are whirring, and it goes cling, and like there's association, and then cling, there's something that's kind of related to it, and then the third one goes cling, and there's something that's related to that second thing, and my brain wants to tell a story about the third degree from the actual thing that's happening, because that's how often that's how it works a lot. Other than that, it's just like a 3-pound bag of fat playing Human Simulator all day long. So much like all of you. We are flesh mech warriors with these little balls of fat dictating what we do all day. It's weird to think about. Like, who you are is just this like thing that even, yeah, it's weird. Like, I feel like I think in my head, right? That what happens to me is experienced in this thing. And it always blows my mind to learn about how the Egyptians, when they're preserving everything, they'd pull the brains out of the nose and just throw it away because they had no idea what it was for. When that it was essentially the person that they're trying to send to the afterlife. So like all of their pharaohs and chosen people like wake up in the afterlife just complete vegetables. Because it's the one thing that wasn't preserved. But you know what? They got a liver in a jar. They've got some kidneys in a jar. Their heart's in a jar. I don't know. I just feel like the essence of me like happens here and not anywhere else in my body. I don't feel like I'm thinking elsewhere. But that might be because I know what the brain is about, and I grew up knowing that I'm thinking here. I don't know. It's weird. Okay. Zoobs is here. BJK031. With the threat from E-Trade, when do you expect Kitty to exercise his calls? I'm sure he's debating that right now. I'm sure he's got some lawyers talking to E-Trade, being like, you don't want to do this. Yeah. Trying to explain to them the PR nightmare it's going to be. That like, it's like, imagine Charles Lindbergh flies across the Atlantic, and he comes back home to all these parades and parties, and he's beloved by everyone. And his bank comes out and shoots him in the head. Like, his bank is going to lose their customers at this point because he's the most beloved man in America. Imagine Neil Armstrong lands on the moon. He comes home. He's like, oh, I did it. I landed on the moon. They ticker tape parade, and he was meeting the president. And then, like, the president of his country club on national television just kicks him in the balls, right? That country club is going to lose customers. It's just it would be like shooting Michael Jordan's dog in 1996. You're not going to do that. That's a dumb thing to do. Like, don't be stupid to America's sweetheart. That's it. He's America's sweetheart. So don't fuck it up for yourself, for your future. E-Trade will cease to exist if they do this. Like, Exodus. Your customers are just going to leave. Because there's 100 other brokers out there that can do exactly what you do. So don't be dumb, E-Trade. Just go find the shares. And yeah, it'll cost you some money. But you'll have a billionaire account as one of your clients. And that, that should make up for it. Excuse me. There's a check for it 1 minute late, you son of a bitch. I started it at 9:45. Just took a minute for the stupid video to actually project. Zoob's me shit show of the day. Yes. Hey, Mikados. We're 2 without service today. You are reposting like mad. Yeah, I had no service, and by the time service came back, so I had to run to work, so didn't get a chance to read the 8 billion. I've got so many messages from you guys. Oh my goodness. Normally during the day, I would take care of the messages and respond to them, and they just accumulated and accumulated and accumulated. I'll spend another hour tonight in bed giving you guys thumbs up. Thank you for the thing. I might not have the energy to actually respond to you one by one, but be like, thank you for sending that thing. Got it. Veritarian, FDIC warns 63 lenders on brink of insolvency with $17 billion in unrealized losses. Those are the little banks. Those are your community and regional banks. They're all about to get vaporized from the commercial real estate market, which is done. It's absolutely done. I mean, I'm sure we'll see office buildings for the next year or more sell for between 1 and 20% of their previous value. Just again and again and again and again. It's just going to be see people walking away. I get sent so many articles every day about various buildings that are being auctioned off and they're selling for pennies. There was one the other day, I can't remember what city it was in, where the winning bid was like 22% of what was owed on the loan. And the bank's like, oh, well, I guess have it. What else are we going to do? So, yeah. Turkish, happy birthday, Houston. My thumbs are gone from twiddling, chafed to the bone, reduced to dust. When is BBY going to reemerge? There's a hearing tomorrow of some kind. Maybe we'll see another dump of dockets. I don't know. Stephen Lewis, hey, I was just watching yesterday's episode. What a day. What a day indeed. Frozen State Productions, Doug Seafood, stop responding to my tweets. He's cooked. Yes. He's cooked like a ham. Jam, the Matrix is breaking. Legacy Den Productions, Houston. Houston. Can you explain events that would happen if they announce Wu-Tang NFT dividend? How would this work? How could they cheat out of it? What happens when there's an automatic default? I think if GME shareholders get gifted a chunk of the Wu-Tang album, it cannot be fudged, it cannot be faked, it cannot be duplicated. It will give us an automatic share count of how many shares are in existence, because they're asking everyone at their brokerages to connect to this thing ultimately. Pleaser Dow tweeted today, they're like, hey, yeah, GME shareholders got a part of this. They admitted it. So it's coming. Hey Ross was pointing out earlier that he thinks it's less of a dividend and more of a way to track trades and track how many shares are owned. And I think Pleaser Dow gave him like a Y, like a yes for that. So yeah. Not a moth. Will MOAS affect BBBY and MMTLP at all? Not unless their shares can trade. But there's still a bag on them. So the minute they can start trading again, for whatever reason, then that bag has to start being emptied. So yeah, German market. What's happening with the German market? Let's look at Frankfurt here. Frankfurt market GME. GameStop. Frankfurt market. It's at 25 euro. Is it? Oh, it's not open yet. It'll open soon. Don't give me that. Just... yeah, Frankfurt's not open yet, so we don't see anything. Soon. Right? Soon. Indeed. Okay. Foreign border. Wizard is never late, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to. Exactly. 1 minute late. Pre-market jump? I think so. Striking Viking. Memes are back. I absolutely love seeing the panic all over the long faces of CNBC today. Oh man, those guys looked tired. They look real tired. Like greasy, unkempt, unshaven, didn't have it showered, like just up all night. Not like the way we were up all night or going, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. But they're up all night going, oh my God, tossing and turning and sweating and, like just miserable. Not a moth. I have 21 calls, $21 calls for the 21st, or 21 covered calls for 21st. What would be a good game plan to get that magic 100 contract number? How much time do you think we have? Mo ask or sneeze. I mean, if I think at this point, if the stock does what it did a few weeks ago and opens high, 60, 80 bucks, if I can ride puts down back to when they try to get it down to like a $30 level, wherever the new floor is, I think that one last round, I can get to 100 calls at a reasonable price. Probably, $40, somewhere around there. Because if it goes, I got 17 contracts at the money right now. If it goes to 80 bucks, then I'm looking at about 5,000 per contract for those 17. That's 85K. You can buy 85 puts at the money at that price. Ride that sucker back down another $40 or so. That'd be about 4,000. So that would be 350K. If that's the way it happens, and I could easily get 100 calls. I could get probably 1,000 calls at the right level. Probably do a couple hundred calls at a reasonable, not too far above strike, and then a whole bunch of lotto tickets. So, you gotta wait for implied volatility to like kind of shrink out a little bit, and for later in the day. But yeah, you could. It's doable. That's kind of how I'm trying to swing trade this sucker and get up there. I should have a couple weeks ago dumped my calls that day that it hit 80 bucks pre-market. Should have dumped right at open. I learned my lesson, and then wait to consolidate and do it all over again. But I didn't learn. Well, I did learn, but I didn't do it then. So I would probably hit my 100 call mark if I had just done it then. Well, but life's about learning. Because in the past, what was happening was you'd have a hot little pre-market, whatever, it would open, and then you'd get this jump of implied volatility, but the price wouldn't be any different. It would sit there for about 20 minutes. And then you get this weird spike about 20 minutes into the market being open. It would last 20, 30 minutes. So a little bit after 10 a.m. on the East Coast time, then they would hammer it down. And so it'd give you time to build up early in the morning if you wanted to, ride that sucker up, and then ride it back down the other side, and then wait for the power hour to happen, and you could buy more calls just before that and ride it back up again for the next day. But they are really hammering it down right at open now. I think they want to make it harder for people to swing trade options during the day, because you can't trade options during pre-market or after hours. So the only time people can do anything about it is when the market's open. So if you have all your price action happen right at open and right at close, then it makes it really hard for people to like truly swing trade their way through it. I think that's one of their plans at the moment. So yeah. Zoob's simulation is over. We're waking up. Morgan Stanley owns E-Trade. Thank you. That's who owns E-Trade. Thank you. Turkish, I heard E-Trade never had original shares. Probably didn't. David IJWT, we're going to be so wealthy. Emojis, emojis, emojis. We're done money. We are. 54 positions are banned. Okay. Got 69s, we got 420s, we got 741s, we got more 420s. G-Font, I believe the T35s, ETF FTDs of the May breakout line up with June OPEX. Ooh, that'd be tasty, wouldn't it? So that would be, that happened, was it first week of May? Was the FTDs of that? So if I look at my little calendar here. So that first week of May, I go back to there. So that was the 6th, 7th, 8th. Yep, that day. So we look at 6. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. We're a month removed from that. And 5, 6. So that's 42 minus that weekend. You're right. I think it does line up with the 21st. Yeah. Nice. Good eye there, G-Font. Good eye. I'm going to tell you right now, G-Font, if I am able to make a good swing trade this week, I'll probably be at Banff again next week, FYI. So, I don't know if you guys want to go grab lunch. I might be up there next week. We'll see. The tickets for the Banff World Media Festival are very expensive, so I'll have to make sure that I have a nice, good winning track record this week if I'm going to buy a last-minute ticket for it. But hey, it'll be fun to drive my little BMW up there. That moon dude is creepy. Moon dude. That might be the one that I don't see. There's one of the emojis that's not showing up on my screen. That must be moon dude. Okay. J-Dog, go Mariners. Go Mariners indeed. Dab Da. Let's go. I got places I want to vacation at this summer. You and me both. Peachy Sunday. What's the significance of 621? It's an arbitrary date that DFE picked. 621 is the June leaps. So leaps for January, the leaps for June. The January ones can go out as far as 2 years, I believe, and the June ones are 1 year out. And so there's a whole bunch of options. It's the OPEX dates. It's the triple witching for quadruple witching for those options. And so there's a huge volume of them that can trigger and make the next week go bonkers. So that's the significance of them, I think, ultimately. Zoobs, this actually looks like my contract might hit at $90 strike price. I think so. I think we'll see some wild swings between now and June 21st. And I don't know if he triggers on the 21st, making them look for all those shares, and then the next week we get just giant gamma because the price is already bonkers by then. That could be when we see the MOAS. I mean, it could happen before then because we've got all sorts of weird things happening with the NFT, with earnings, with merger acquisition possibilities, with the shareholder meeting, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. Devastator Omega. Friend of mine that Elon is a dumbass. I accept that. Justin Shackelford, this keep crashing for everyone else? I hope not. My internet so far is mediocre. I've got 2.6 up, which is better than usual. So normally I'm at like 1.5, and then I turn to max headroom for you guys. So that's all right. Kenny Shorty's interrupts. Happens usually. Aaron Saltine just bought my only 3 GME shares. Only have an extra $100. Most of it in my penny stock. I want them to squeeze also. It's a good chance. The baskets are baskets, man. Houston's internet only works when playing multiple intros. Koski 406 Houston. Hey, first and foremost, hope you're well. Second, I have a question regarding options bid purchasing order. I'm wondering if you put a high bid in, will it fill a higher bid or the lowest bid first? Usually it fills at the bid you put in. If you put the higher bid in, it'll probably take yours over the lower bid. So yeah, that's probably how it works. Aaron Salentine is not 35 days plus. The new rule is 45 days plus. That's, yeah, the T35 supposedly doesn't exist anymore. I don't know if that is for the ETFs or just stocks in general, though. That's we're gonna have to like eliminate T35 from our brain now and just focus on this T+4 and hope that they actually do something about it. Yeah. Lucas P looks like the SEC and the CAT system are doing great. 160 million volume and 60% dark pool apparently doesn't mean seem suspicious. Lol. Yeah, wait, good job, SEC. Treetop, buying in the money calls are actually a better value with implied volatility so high. Agreed. If you look at like the really far out of the money stuff, like the $128 calls, right? Those $128 calls, I think on Friday were actually I can look right now. Let's look. My broker app will be easier for me to access this quicker because it'll show me the historic price for the day. Okay, click on, we're up to 31.35 in 24-hour market. Go options. Go to June 7th. We will go all the way down to, all the way up to the $128 call. So last Friday it closed at $8. It hit a high of $200 today. And then bottomed out at $19. So the implied volatility was 754% at close, like in crazy high, absolutely bonkers. So if you had bought an absolute just crap ton of those last Friday, you made a fortune at open, and then it crashed right back down again. The volatility for the stuff that's in the money, it was 500%. I think it went to over 1,000% for the stuff that was way out of the money. But yeah, there's weird things that will happen when implied volatility is really high. So last time around, the stock price was at like $50, and my $35 calls were worth $1,800. That didn't make any sense because you're already $2,000. They should be worth $2,000 minimum. And then the $50 calls were like $1,300. That doesn't what? That doesn't make any sense. Like why this one is already $2,000 in the money? Why are you doing it that way? But I don't know, math of the Greeks. Someone figured it out, and that's how they do it. Mark Kilpatrick, BMO and Berk A stocks did some strange things today. Was it blamed on technical glitches? It was blamed on some glitches. Yes. Teddy McDowell, still teaching at Edmonds College. Not this quarter. I was hoping to, but enrollment is way down at community colleges. So no one asked me to teach, so I'm just doing this. Grape Knowles, you're such a smart man that tickles me pink. Even as a millennial, that you cannot understand how to get a handle on your intros. Why you signed up to this? Can you get into the details of it? We kind of did last week. In OBS, there's a little file system. And I got various scenes. So like there's Big Houston. There's a scene called Scene, which allows me to do like the Google Earth, the web, calculator, etc. I've got Zoom. So if I'm on Zoom with somebody, in case my camera sucks or whatever, I can always have myself here. And then the other Zoom person is on the other side. And then I got the Monkey Large so that we can see Monkey in her sleepy glory right here. And so when I switch between those, and if I go back to Big Houston, the Big Houston is where the intros are, because the intros happen when I'm on this scene. If I don't remember to turn the intro off, because there's no way to just like hit play and have it play once, it stays on. And I switch scene and I go to say, the internet, and I come back, it will restart that intro. And someone's like, hey, there's a thing you can click and it won't do that. And so I tried that last week and I clicked it, turned them all off so they only turn on once, and then they wouldn't turn on again. Even when I wanted to make an intro, it would be like, nope, you can only do it once per show. So I don't know. So we're going to have double intros probably forever, because in the 20 seconds an intro plays, I try to take a sip of water, I pet the dog, I might click something on the internet, and I just forget to turn it off. And that's where we are. But, this sweet little sleepy bird, oh, did you sleepy dog? Yo, did you sleepy dog? Oh, she's a little sweeters. Is excellent distracting me from doing things. Because she's just a little cutie pie. Aaron's Fountain, Houston, $1,000 share, Genie and beyond. Love it. Go past $1,000. Go 50,000, 100,000, million. Just MOAS. Parataran. I wonder if Burke is the first blue chip that a major short hedge fund is invested in and could be a major indicator of what's to come in the future. There was some DD, I don't remember the details of it. I kind of skipped over it years ago, that Berkshire was being used as sort of like a counterpart to GameStop. I can't remember the reasoning behind it. If anyone can find that, send it to me. I'll read it again and put it more into the forefront of my brain. I remember thinking, all right, whatever. I read it the last time. But no, maybe they're onto something. President Production, how's the arm? Still getting ready for Old Timers game? Yes. I'll be throwing again on Wednesday. And I got a month. It's a month to the Old Timers game. So, a month to the Old Timers game, because I usually have it on the 3rd of July now. And then Houston's big old barbecue on the 4th of July. Rasmus. Cure? I have no idea how to pronounce that letter. The A and the E are making that little shape. I have held my shares for years now, and I haven't really been paying attention recently. I just hold and wait. I sense a lot going on. People seem to think the squeeze will happen soon. Yes. Yes, we do. We've had 3.5 years of education and consolidation and getting ready and learning, and now we're ready. We're like General Patton in the Mojave Desert, leading hundreds of thousands of troops and tank maneuvers, and then getting dropped into North Africa. That's us right now. We are ready. We are marching in unison and ready to go to war. So yeah. Leeloff, if DFE exercises calls plus Wu-Tang, how high can it go? Use your imagination, man. Up there. Ripper Trooper. I think E-Trade will be the sacrificial lamb. Don't estimate how desperate they can get. Yeah. Avocado's going good night. Find the sleepies. Yes, see you afterwards. Excellent. I'll probably go for another 27 minutes. I'll go at 10:30 tonight, and then or 11:30 tonight, and peace out after that. It's 11:04 on that clock right there. Treetop, I have a theory. E-Trade wants to send Roaring Kitty to another broker because E-Trade doesn't want to exercise all of those calls. That process is a pain in the arse during a squeeze. Oh, I can imagine how terrible it would be. And they probably don't have the capital to hedge for them right now. I mean, you're looking at hundreds of millions of dollars got to be purchased to get 17 million shares together, and you're going to force a whole bunch of gamma ramping. Yeah. Says before Super Stonk has hit 1 million subs. Well, they kicked me out. So they would be at 1,000,001 if they didn't kick me out. Platinum Sparkles. Papa Shack 1, Houston. Taking my family to Seattle next week. What are some must-dos for a visit? Well, it's January right now, so you could have nice weather, or it could be the most miserable 50-degree rain you've ever experienced in your life. You're gonna do the normal stuff. You're Space Needle. You can go to the Columbia Center Observation Tower. That's cool. Seattle Underground Tour is also really cool. You can learn about all the prostitution and Shanghaiing and everything else that was in the netherworld of Seattle back in the day. You can go visit natural wonders, take a ferry ride, go see Mount Rainier, go see Snoqualmie Falls, do like a sailing trip or a harbor cruise, eat a lot of good sushi and teriyaki. Probably the best sushi and teriyaki in North America is here. What else can you do? There's lots of cool museums, a lot of great art museums, some great parks for walking. So there's a lot of hills, so just, get your cardio in. Go along the waterfront, eat at a lot of seafood restaurants, go on the Great Wheel, visit the aquarium, normal city stuff. What else can you do? You can... Oh, that's probably enough. That'd probably fill out your week right there. So, Those are my recommendations. Ferry rides to places are fun. You just hop on the ferry, it dumps you off in a town, you wander the town and do all the little touristy things that are available in that town, get back on the ferry, head back to your hotel, whatever. It's a good way to get about. And in downtown Seattle, you can do 3 ferries. You got the foot ferry to West Seattle, which, there's not much. Where it drops you off West Seattle, there's a couple of okay restaurants, but you're kind of out in the middle of nowhere. But you can take the ferry to Bremerton. And, Bremerton it's doing better. It's a very blue-collar industrial. It's where the naval shipyard is. So, at 4 o'clock every day, 100,000 naval shipyard workers and machinists and welders and stuff all just empty out of this place, and traffic is a nightmare. But there's got little shops and restaurants and stuff downtown. And then Bainbridge, where I live, caters a lot to the tourists. The art museum is amazing. It's one of the best art museums I've ever been in, and it's free. Rich people make great stuff. And they have a huge endowment, so they don't have to charge anybody for the art museum. And then there's some great restaurants. Agate is delicious. My friend Paul and his wife Carrie own that. Bruciato, my other friend's restaurant where I help out, the pizza place is really good. Seabird, same owner. I mean, the guy's a James Beard runner-up, Food and Wine Magazine Chef of the Year. Seabird was Esquire Magazine's Restaurant of the Year last year. Like, there's some good eating. Proper Fish, probably the best fish and chips in America. So if you want to like gorge yourself on some good restaurants in a tight little space, and I don't know, buy some T-shirts that say Bainbridge Island on them, do that. So there you go. There's your visit. Christian 15213. How do you win on the way down? Puts. Unless you're gonna short everything all again, but yeah, just puts. Puts will be enough. That's what I'm gonna do. JM, Morgan Stanley E-Trade caught on a RICO? Maybe they're showing their ass. Are they being sent to the slaughter? That's also very possible. Danjo, so much fun talking shit to paid shills. Amusing watching them freak out and trying to paint this picture that Roaring Kitty and retail are destroying the market. Next 3 weeks to be legendary. Yeah, there was an old guy today. I've been trading for 43 years. You guys are a bunch of dumbasses. And he's trying to tell me that GameStop's going bankrupt, that they're just going to dilute until they don't exist anymore, and all the analysts have them just losing money. And I was like, buddy, they got $2 billion, they have no debt, and they posted a profit in 2023. They're not going anywhere. He's like, that's what you think. I'm like, no, really, like, go look at the SEC filings. He's like, well, the analysts predict this, and he shows the predictions for their earnings for the next, 2 years. I was like, yeah, but last year they were wrong 100% of the time on their earnings predictions. And that GameStop beat the predictions every single solitary quarter and then posted a profit for the whole year. I'm muting you now. Like, okay, Gramps. I'm sure it's going to work for you. Peter Brand, I can't think. I'm cooking food. I gave myself a steak today. I earned a steak and I had a steak today. So I cooked that just before I came on here and it was delicious. Just, I didn't get a nice steak. It's a crappy little, sirloin. A little bit of tenderizer. Put in a pool of olive oil with cumin, black pepper, a little bit of powdered garlic because I'm lazy. And then some blue cheese crumbles on top and just bake that sucker at 425 for 16, 17 minutes. And it comes out delicious. And, save a little chunk for that creature. And now she's sleeping it off. Look at her. She's so peaceful. She's like, I had a piece of steak. Yum, yum, yum. Boss fight. I ain't lurking tonight. I can type and I ain't distracted. Gist was chill today despite the technical difficulties. I can tell the host really advocates for guest viewers. Yes. Josh is a good dude. We'll do another show. Hopefully we won't have a freak windstorm. So yesterday was the rainiest day in June history for Seattle. And the power went out for a good chunk yesterday. And then today, it was sunny and beautiful, but the wind was blowing 50 miles an hour, and then the power went out again. So, right at 11:58. I was supposed to start the show at noon, and 11:58, the power went out. My roommate heard me scream, no! And then it blinked a couple of times, and we heard a transformer explode, and I was like, that's it, it's over. So, I tried, but Mother Nature had other plans, man. Mother Nature has shorted GameStop, I think. Lowermore, Keith Gill, today's Chuck Norris. Salmon. He was on GME in 2019. No one was listening. So 2019 is when he started talking about it. Yeah. Has been posting in positions since then. Boss fight. Chuck Norris is a loser. He's also short in many ways. DFE is the GOAT. I get it though. If you mean the meme Chuck Norris that can defeat anything. Yes, I think it's meme wise. K Crusher. Did anyone else get in on those June 20 calls? They can still get in? Of course you can still get in. They're just expensive now. You can buy more calls that are in the money at like $31 where it is now. And if this thing goes to the moon, the 10 extra bucks won't matter, right? Like we can do a little calculator here. Calculator intro. Bum, bum, bum. Come on, calculator intro. Which means I also have to open the calculator. Bam. Okay, turn the calculator intro off. Then we go to the calculator by clicking there and turning Chrome off. There we go. All right, so let's look at the prices real quick because I don't think I have the option to chain up there anymore. I don't. So we are going to go. So for June 21, the $20 calls are currently $1,000, $1,025. So let's say at $10,000, you can buy 10 of them, right? So $1,000 a call, you get 10 of them with your $10,000. Okay, a $31 call, which is where we're in the money basically right now, is $680. So clear, 6, 8. Oh, sorry, I'll do 10,000 first. 10,000 divided by 680 means you can get 14 of them, almost 15. So let's just round up to 15 because that makes my math easier. So you get 15 calls. So you get 50% more calls. Let's say the stock price goes to $100, right? That means each one of those $30 calls are going to be worth $7,000 plus a premium, so probably about $8,000 each. So you'll have $8,000 times those 15 calls. You'll have $120,000 if the price goes to $100. If you have got 10 calls at $20, you'll have $8,000 plus a 9. You'll have $9,000 plus premium, so about $9,000 per each one of those. So you have $90,000. So you're going to have about $30,000 more dollars if this thing hits high volatility and cruises to $100 or whatever, with the $31 calls than you would with the $20 calls. The $20 calls are much more of a guarantee that you're going to be in the money when this thing's all said and done. But with the way volatility is now, there's almost 100% chance it's going to pass through, higher orders. Like today opened at $42 or whatever. So at one point, your $42 calls you may have purchased on Friday for, oh man, what were those? Let's see here. Let's go to 42. Previous close was $1.53 and had a high of $11. So Friday you could have, with your $10,000, if on Friday, the $10,000, so your $10,000, if you bought at $1.53 right at close, you would have 65 of them, right? Good job. And today they hit a price of $1,175 as a high. So you've had $76,000 off of that. So yeah, that's pretty darn good. And you could have sold maybe $76,000, and then today the low for those was at $4. So you could divide that whole thing by $400. Sorry. So you could have picked up 191 of them when the price bottomed out. And that's how you do your swing trading on stock options. You can also have purchased puts puts are about $1,000 at the money at open. And how much? Let's see here. $40 put. Let's go to puts. So $42 put currently is $1,895, and implied volatility really kicked the shit out of them. Yeah. So actually wouldn't have made that much off of puts. Been better to go for cheaper ones. So if we gone for like $31 put. Now the implied volatility is so high you can't actually make that much money off of the puts at the moment. You're gonna need a lot bigger swing. You're gonna need something that goes to like when the price goes to like 80 or $100 to really utilize the distance it travels to make some money. You'd have made like an extra 20%. Probably wouldn't be worth it for the time and just be a headache. But yeah, so that's kind of how you do it. You got to figure, okay, what's the volatility mean? Is the price going to go to the hundreds or not? Like when I was playing the options before, when we had volatility in 21 and 22, like sometimes I'd just buy one option because I knew that the price was going to swing crazy. So like I remember March 2022, I think it bottomed out at like $69. And I was hemming and hawing, like, oh, should I buy an option yet? I don't know. And I was going to buy something about 6 weeks ahead. And I think when the price was between $70 and $80, and I bought a $120 option. It cost me like, I don't know, $100. And end of March, beginning of April, the stock price shot to $200 and something, and that option was worth over $8,000, and I'd spent $200 for it, $100 and whatever dollars for it. And that was a pretty good run. I wish I had bought like 20 of them at that price. But yeah, when the price kind of drops and you get these huge swings where it can go more than $100 within a couple of trading days, you think about every time a stock goes up $100, the option you had at the money is worth $10,000 basically. So every $10 it goes is another $1,000 that option basically has in its worth, generally. And granted, there's like little calculations and you got premiums and stuff, but you go up basically $100 per dollar in price. And that's the kind of rule of thumb that I use. Deck P, thank you for the euros. All right, has Germany opened yet? Is it Germany opening time now? Here we go. Here we go. It's open. So we're at 28.90 in Germany. Looks pretty flat. Up 11% from close. So 28.90. What's that in US dollars? 28.9 euro to USD. 31.51, which is where the 24-hour market was having it. Yeah, pretty on par at the moment with the 24-hour market. So, okay. Laura Moore, UBS is fucked. Yes. I think there's probably somebody at UBS who pays attention to people like me and you, and they probably saw all the speculation that UBS was buying these calls, and they're like, we should have done that. Why didn't we do that? For $100 million, we could have gotten $1 billion of liability out of the way, and that'd be more than what we've accomplished so far. But no, now they're going to have to spend billions of dollars to get $1 billion of liability out of the way. Where am I? Danjo. So the question is DFV, if DFV exercises options, which should drive crazy price action? What's to keep them from using dark pools to suppress the action? 165 million volume today and price moved a few bucks. I mean, you can, with your brokerage individual buying, you can force them to route things through lit exchanges. Like, no, I want to use this exchange to make my purchase. With options, I don't think you have that ability. But there is a desperation, especially with T+1, that the next day they have to have your shares. And they're going to go out and there's going to be a lot of purchasing. And because of the way all this payment for order flow crap and high frequency trading happens, is that there's probably 10 hands that a single share passes through, which is why you see volume in the hundreds of millions of shares, is that to get one share, it's got to pass through 10 different people first before it gets to you and you can finally use it to like cover that option. It'd be amazing if we force them to do all through lit exchanges, because that volume would just be, by the time it got to the 10th dude, they'd be losing so much money that, yeah, I don't know. Salmon, I deposited money in Robinhood the day they took the buy button away. You and me both, dude. Yep. Laura Moore, Robinhood scalps and overnight trading too. Oh, they definitely do. Yeah, they don't even report anything until the next day. And so, like, when the pre-market opens, it has nothing to do with what the price has been in Robinhood overnight, and it can be completely disjointed. And Robinhood will just go in and buy it the $10 cheaper price during the pre-market. GB Ninja Turtle. Hello, late night stonkers. Hello. Is he using get sleep like me? I am going to sleep in 8 minutes. So you get 8 more minutes of me, and then I'm out of here. B2B brand, halts are always doing what you don't want them to do. Yep. Belgian Well, Calimera from Great Britain just started. Starting the show. Okay. I don't know what that means. Daniel, Plainview, I'm an idiot and never transferred some GME shares from Robinhood. Will I be able to close when the time comes? Well, I mean, if they go back to close position only, yes, because they'll have taken away the buy button, but not the close button. They need your shares, regardless. They need your shares. They must have them, and that's where if liquidation happens, they're going to be buying them regardless. Or more. Bill Huang's Archegos fund blew up. Credit Suisse absorbed the losses. Now UBS holds the bags. Any other questions? That's basically how it works. And then there was some sort of thing where Bill Huang is like now testifying against JP Morgan in some sort of, I didn't get a chance. I saw that I was sent the article just before I went live, or I saw it just before I went live, so I haven't had a chance to read it. I did retweet it so that I would see it later. But yeah, it sounds like he's like, if I'm going down, I'm taking you all with me. That's kind of where he is right now. Gary Golathon? Galit Han? And as long as we continue to hodl, they'll continue to be fucked. It's true. Dennis Rajo. Imagine going from building your mom $1 billion house to asking if you would like fries with that. Wouldn't that be wonderful? We're asking if you could live in that said house. Pretty big basement, I imagine. The biggest basement. Marco Patrick. Oh crap, Marco Patrick, you just reset. And where'd you go? Find Marco Patrick. I just lost you. Okay. Oop. There you go. I wonder if E-Trade violated privacy rules by saying that Keith Gill is a customer and has an account with them. Billy doesn't mention me and my scrawny account. I think people might know from how he posted his positions that maybe it was an E-Trade account, because that might be what the E-Trade platform looks like. I don't know. Laura Moore, who's a good puppy? Who is a good puppy? Look at the good puppy right there. She's like, leave me alone. I just want to sleep. But you got the cute little ears. Okay. Ziggy780. In my opinion, a Roaring Kitty strikes it this week so that the pain goes into earnings, dividend, Wu-Tang into leaps, and GME buys Berkshire Hathaway. From your lips to God's ears. All right. Yawn crash. Peach Sunday, Houston, do you think POTUS is briefed on this GME situation? I mean, they were aware of it in 2021. It happened like the week he was inaugurated. So it was all over the news. Yeah, I mean, there's probably someone at the White House who's up on this. I mean, there are weirdos like us in little nooks and crannies all over the place. Like you'll see in the writers' room at Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. There's definitely an ape in the writers' room because they do these inside jokes that only us terminally online Wall Street bettors, meme stalkers would get. You're like, oh, somebody in the writers' room at John Oliver is paying attention to this stuff. I would love for John Oliver to do a naked shorting episode. That would be a great episode to do. They've come close. They've kind of touched on it a couple of times. They went after the consulting agencies like McKinsey and BCG pretty big last year. So I think if this kicks off again, they'll probably do a naked shorting episode to bring it to the forefront of the public's mind. But anyway, yeah, there's probably somebody, some intern, someone at the White House who's totally aware of what's going on. Michael Mystery, it's fun to watch Houston talk and answer to Monkey Butt. Well, she's such a good little sidekick, right? Speaking of which, because Michael Mystery is here, we should probably do a quick little treat, right? See that ear perk up? She heard me lean back, and then, oh, sleep no longer on the menu? Is it now stinky beef time? Hey, fat cat. Shall we stinky beef it? Stinky beeferton? Oh, it's so stinky. Oh, hello. Hello, you coming for stinky beef? Will you eat stinky beef, kitty? I give you one? You want that? No? Yeah? You can lick it all day long. You just gotta take it from me. Take it out of my hand. Jeez, my knees. The dog has figured this out. Why can't you? Sorry, right there. Eat that. You don't have to get up. You can stay there in your nice little bed. Stay right there. What about this one? If I put it on your head, what are you gonna do? Oh! Kitty cat. Did you even bother eating it? Okay, Monkey, get one more little guy right there. Yep. Oh, it's so delicious. Okay, cattail karaoke. So, Danjo had a limit order for BRK with fingers crossed, but failed. He canceled my order. I had one going too. Mine got canceled. Oh well. Kevin Camus, sorry I'm late. You probably answered already, but wouldn't it make sense for Gill to exercise calls ASAP, which would cause MOAS? He may. My guess is that he's waiting for the FOMO of the normies to jump in again and push that price higher so that people load up on even more options, forcing the options chain to go in and buy more, which makes much more of a gamma ramp, much more of a gamma squeeze when those things execute. And I think what Gill is looking for is the week after those options trigger is when you get MOAS. That's what I'm thinking. Is that the week after June 21 call to exercise is when the price is going to go crazy. We'll see craziness between now and then, but I think the ultimate crazy will probably be that week of the 28th. So 27th. Yeah, 28th, somewhere in there. Papa Monkey. Interesting. Will they be offering their lawyers for class action suits that your position may be involved in? The catch was they would do it for 20% fee of recovered funds. What a racket. Yeah. Indirectly. Okay, yes. That's how a lot of those things work. I'm gonna do one more thing here. While I'm in the middle, I'm sending butterflies every time Houston flaps. Okay. Mom. Michael Steegs, Houston, do you think at the end of the week back to 20 to 30, 23, or will we end higher? I don't see a mechanism to drop us much below 30 before the end of the week. I kind of think maybe 28 to 30 might be our current floor. Like last time when we were roaring, we had a floor of about 30. And then it was when on that Friday the 17th when we would have put 30 million shares in the money. GameStop announced that they're going to dilute right before open, and that's what drew up the price down. They gave them 45 million locates. They dropped the price down to $20, and that's the only reason we were below 30 on that Friday. If we had closed above 24, we would have had so many shares in the money. But there we go. All right, I'll probably be doing a show tomorrow. Very likely. I'm not sure I have a long show, but we'll probably do a show. Hopefully in the daytime. Hopefully there'll be power. And I'm going to sleep because I can wake up in a few hours and stare at the charts. So everyone, have a great night. Rock and roll. And I'll see you tomorrow on the interwebs and all that jazz. After Dark 2.0. Bing! Nope, 3.0. Sorry. 3.0. There we go. 2.0 gets me in trouble. Thank you for who made it, but the song suffices.
Houston, we have a problem.